Hello, in this video I'm going to share my process for making a Miss Piggy paper puppet out of a few sheets of paper. Welcome along, my name is Ben Stanley and I design and make paper puppets, and this lady needs no further introduction. Do it anyway, humour me! Okay, this is star of screens big and small. She's an icon, the one and only Miss Piggy! Do you mind? So sorry. Thank you. On this channel, I share how I make working replicas of beloved Muppets, two kind puppets, characters and creatures. Watch it! What I'd love to do is just start by saying a huge thank you to everyone who's been watching, liking, commenting and subscribing. Is this video about you or me? No, sorry, yeah, it's about you. Then stop talking about your channel! If you are a fan of moi, then you may like this video to show your appreciation. Right, let's get to it. This is how to make moi. Miss Piggy. You're welcome. So there's relatively few sheets of paper in this Miss Piggy build. A couple of beige pieces for the skin tone and a couple of white sheets of paper for the body and a few other bits. It's really important to score and fold all of these template sheets before gluing, as that's really going to help you get the proper shape and the crispness and the strength as well. And this section is going to become the basis for Miss Piggy's face. What we're doing by gluing here is just creating that sort of three-dimensionality and hopefully the sort of curvature of her face rather than any harsh lines. And you'll see that there are some sort of fairly obvious fold and glue points, but actually they'll mostly get covered up with the extra sections we're going to add on. When it came to the cheeks, you can see me adding extra bits here that'll get glued on to that sort of basic part of the face. And just before I created this video, I actually panicked a bit and thought, oh really, I should have the cheeks as part of the face. So I sort of went back and redesigned it, and it kind of worked, but actually it kind of warped the top of the head. So in the end I felt better to have separate sections and get that shape closer to the original. And once we've glued one cheek on, we're then adding the other one. What I'm always trying to achieve with the puppets that I'm creating is that sort of sense of curvature rather than sort of flat planes. So I'm trying to stretch the paper as far as it'll go in terms of curving around. And hopefully that's what I've done with the cheeks. And then we can just really glue down the very tops there to merge the cheeks in as much as possible with the main face. Next up, we're onto the snout or the nose and mouth, and giving the mouth just enough movement to be able to sort of move up and down. It's quite a subtle mouth movement in the final puppet. And this is sort of almost it's not origami, but it's kind of more traditional in that the way I created it was using a lot of folds. So again, really important to get all the scoring and folding done before we begin to sort of put it together. And again, I'm going to be using glue to sort of fix pieces, so it's not origami, but I'm definitely using origami techniques here, some folds. And with the mouth section here, you'll see there's a bit of a fold where you're folding into it, and then that will actually hold it there. I mean, you could glue it in place, but you don't need to because of the way you're sort of folding one section over the other. And with the top half, with the nose, again, super important to fold them first. And there's a few sort of fiddly folds here, and actually this sort of sugar paper made one of the folds a lot easier than if you were just trying it with normal paper. So this fold here, where you're kind of pushing against it, and it's creating almost a curved fold for the top. And then it's a case of gluing it in place just to keep it firm. And then this flap here is going to be pushed up against the body. So we're just going to glue it into place to have it as flat as possible, and then we're cutting off a few sections so that when we're adding it to the face there are less lines to be covered up, and you'll see they'll be covered by the eyes. We're just putting the mouth in there and the nostrils, and then it's gluing this top flap and the two flaps together, and they nose and the face come together and glue there. And the next section is this flap here, just to glue it into the sort of top of the mouth section, and that'll keep it all firm in place. And then we've got this chin here, which we're just adding on. Just going to glue that to the bottom, around the sides, and then the back we glue down these little flaps. On both sides, and I haven't left any fold lines because this is a little bit, just try it out and see. What I'm trying to do is open the mouth as much as possible before gluing those side flaps on, and then there's this final flap that just goes in to tidy everything up. Next come the eyes, and these are the eyelashes going onto the eyelids, and the eyelashes I used slightly thicker black card there to allow them to have that kind of strength, shape and form. And then the eyes quite nicely cover where the nose and the face were glued together. And next we have some good old-fashioned origami in its truest sense. This is to create the ears. Now, I had a bit of trouble creating the ears and ended up finding this brilliant little piece of origami from Jeremy Schaefer, whose video link I'll share in the description so you can see how he made this. But yeah, this just was a really great thing. For him it was bunny ears, but actually they work quite well as Miss Piggy ears. Okay, so I've gone and spoiled it. It's no longer origami because I'm gluing it in place there. But that's partly because this paper's really thick, and often origami paper's really thin. But here it was just too bulky and needed to be glued in. And then this last section is really just folding it in to give it a bit more curvature, a bit less pointy, because pig's ears aren't really pointy and Miss Piggy's aren't either. So we've got two of those. And then some extra little strips which are just going to be glued, folded over for strength, and then they're glued in place into the ear and then onto the top of the head, as you'll see. And then this last section I just realised that I think I needed a bit more curvature in the head, so we just folded that. And then we've got here an extra bit of support for the top of the head, because we're going to add quite a lot of hair on. And here's the hair. I wish it was that quick to make in real life, but it takes ages to cut it all out, but it is well worth it. And then we're just building up the layers of hair. I think I used maybe 6 sheets of tissue paper here, and we're sort of doubling it up to give it that sort of bulk of hair. And yeah, I could have probably done with maybe a slightly lighter yellow, but that's what I had, and I think it works quite nicely, and we can style that a bit later. And then we're onto the body, which is just a 2D cutout. And these score lines here on the neck are really useful because it allows the head to articulate separate from the body, which gives her a bit more attitude when you're using her as a puppet. I'll show you that a bit later. And then we've just got a little cardboard tab at the back to be able to hold the body and move the head. And there she is, Miss Piggy in all her glory.
I'm ready for my close-up.
So there you have it, a Miss Piggy puppet made out of a few sheets of paper. Thank you so much for being with us today, Miss Piggy.
It was a pleasure. For you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.
Oh, goodbye. I love you all so dearly. Take care. Mwah.